Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it How to Dance with Life. This is very simple because life is simply what's happening. That's all there is. And it's flowing on its own. Dancing with life is simply not resisting it. What I mean by not resisting it? Well, life is happening whether we like it or not. A thought appears that seems to have the power to resist it. But the resistance is not going to cause life to change. It's just going to lead to suffering. You see? Because this idea that I can control life is a thought. And even we have proved that life always does what it does, or do what it do, I guess, I don't know, however it's pronounced correctly. Even we have plenty of proof of that, we still believe that we can control it. You see? The mind is very arrogant in that sense. It believes that it has control over everything. Or it could somehow influence anything here. But the thing is that the reason why we seem to be alive is because life is living us. You're not breathing. Breathing happens. You're not seeing. Seeing happens. You're not hearing. Hearing happens. You're not feeling. Feeling happens. And guess what? You're not thinking. Thinking happens. So if thinking happens, how can I suggest that I'm controlling life? This is just simply a play, and life uses the instrument to express itself. That could create some sort of vertigo because, oh my God, are you saying that I cannot control anything? That, my life can go astray if that is supposed to happen? I just make it very simple. Notice how life is leading you to information that is helping you remember that you are, that love is what you are, and that life, because it's what you are, takes care of itself. Actually, what it does, it takes a huge weight off your shoulder. A huge weight. Because now you have nothing, there's nothing to do. And yet, doing happens. I'm not the one who's choosing what to do or not to do, and yet I see how doing happens through the instrument. There's a relaxation. Because when the content of the mind can be seen and not believed in, because there's a trust. You see? Because life has showed me over and over again how life is in charge. It took, the time that it took for that recognition to settle, but now it's seen it's seen right through it. Life happens, I'm not breathing, life is breathing me. I didn't choose to wake up in the morning, life chooses to wake me up in the morning. And then I see how life put in the mind, or it puts the thoughts or the ideas that can be worked on or can be done, whatever the case may be. And if we're willing and open to do the investigation, we realize that that's how life is. The whole video entitled Do We Have Free Will, which is the second video on this series, the link is on the description, is there to show you, in a logical way, how is it that we are not in charge of life. Because again, if I ask you what is the next thought you're going to have, you cannot tell me. So if you do not know what is the next thought you're going to have, and you need the thought first before you make a decision, or a decision is being made, then something has to plant the seed there first. And then from that seed you find yourself sprouting. And then you say, I am sprouting. No. You are not sprouting without the seed, and you didn't put the seed. The typical who came first, the chicken or the egg. It's very simple. Life is simply happening. And the mind is getting in the way with thoughts trying to somehow believe that it has any kind of authority over life. And I'm not asking you to believe me here. This is not the point. If life led you to this video, then there you go. This is the information. If you don't want to believe in it because you still think that you can control life, then go ahead and control the universe. That's fine. I don't have any issue with that. But if for some reason you notice that you cannot control the universe, well, this is a suggestion. That's the simplicity of life. So the way I dance with life is just see that life is happening. See? I'm not trying to go against it. And when I see that it's a thought, a desire, something I would like to do, I can see it as part of the dance. The difference is that I don't hang on to it. I see the dance of, hey, there's a possibility of I could do this. Well, I wonder if that is going to happen or not. But it doesn't matter, because in the end, all that there is this moment. I know what life wants to do with me always. Always. Like right now, life wants me to speak, or life wants me to record a video. How do I know that? Because that is what's happening. And I don't get caught into the mind thinking, but what if, or whatever. I don't know. All I know is that this is it. And this moment has everything that it needs to have. And if there's sensations that needs to be felt, they will come up. If there are thoughts that needs to be thought or whatever, they'll come up. If there's actions that needs to be taken, they'll be taken. You see? And it's very interesting, because then life is an open canvas where you can see where it's taking you, as opposed to you thinking that you can control it. That's why there's an old joke: if you want to make God laugh, tell God your plans. Well, I told God my plans most of my life, and sometimes it appears as if they did happen, but then when I needed something to happen, it wouldn't happen. I'm thinking, wait a minute, how come this happened over here and this didn't happen over here? And then life continued to remind me, because things are not going to go according to your will. Things are going to go according to thy will. And thy will is for you to be at peace. It's for you to be happy. It's not for you to seek pleasure that is temporary and avoiding pains. That's part of the human experience, the duality. But really the will of life is for you to be happy, for you to experience the love that is unconditional. Because that is how life experiences itself. And again, this is interesting, because life cannot experience itself, because life is. So there's nothing experiencing anything. But within the limitation of language, that is just the words that came out. And life becomes a dance, becomes a joy, not a struggle. You see? But if I try to tell life what I want, and I'm trying to pursue what I think I want, that's what I find myself struggling and pursuing and pushing and pulling. And again, this is the way some people have to live their life. I'm not against it. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm simply suggesting that there's another way, another possibility to consider. Which again, very paradoxical, you will consider if you're supposed to consider that. Because life is the one who chooses whether something is going to be considered or not. Once again, life is right now having you listening to this information, so why not suggest that life is considering now to remember that there's a place, there's a happiness, not a place, but there's a happiness, there's a joy, there's a peace in which we rest always by the nature of who we are. And we can put this to the test always. Right now, if you tell me you're not happy, and I ask you the reasons why, you're going to come up with a thought. That's an argument. That's a story. You see? Happiness or sadness or whatever is not justified by a story. It's just simply life expressing itself. If you take the story away, then you cannot but experience eternal peace and eternal happiness. Even if you're not laughing, it doesn't matter. Happiness is not about laughing at or pleasure. Happiness is our essence. That's why the word peace is easier to resonate, because people think happiness, I'm always happy, everything. Well, I'm talking about that. I'm always at peace, even when sometimes I may appear to be serious. But the seriousness is not something that is taken as who I am. It's just simply the expression that seems to be taking place in this particular moment. You see? But when you know who you are, because you have already done the investigation, then you can see that if you don't believe your thoughts, you experience the peace that passes all understanding, meaning you are happy. And therefore, in that happiness, you see how easy it is to dance with life. Because life is always dancing. It's a dance, Sometimes in the dance appears pain, and sometimes in the dance appears pleasure. but there's no suffering. That's what I mean. Pain, ooh, this feels painful. Pleasure, ooh, this feels pleasurable. But there's no psychological suffering because I'm not judging the pain. The pleasure is, I don't use that as an example because that's easier to get caught in. Actually, that's what people want. But in the pain, and not being caught in it, you simply live through it. And as Nisargadatta Mahara, pleasure is the space between two pains. So anyway, life is pain, pleasure, pain, pleasure, pain, pleasure. Or I say the human experience is pain, pleasure, because life is. Life simply is. Life, the space life, does not have any experience. It simply is. What changes, however, which is the illusion of the experience, is the movement of energy. And that movement of energy takes the shape or form or the sensation or the texture of a feeling, a thought, a situation. All of that changes, you see. But what we are, what I am, what you are remains. And we can put it to the test. Come on, let's put it to the test. I do this in every video, so I guess you know it by heart. Right now, notice that you are. Not you person, okay? Not you as a person. I'm not asking you to notice that you are. I'm pointing to what is. Remember, pointing is very different. Asking you to notice that you are, still there's residue of the mind. Okay, I am. No. I'm pointing to this right now. This is it. This is pure experience, okay? No one is having the experience, but again, language is limiting. This is what is, okay? Can we say you're not? Can you say you are not? Can you say you don't exist? Can you say you're not experiencing? Or can you say experiencing is not happening? Can you say existence is not happening? You see? This is it. This is what we're pointing to. So let me ask you, if there's a problem with that? Is there an issue with it? No. It is what it is. It's perfect. Pristine. Peace. Joy. Love. Happiness. This is it. This is how simple it is. So, what is that appears as if this background, which is eternal, never changes, what gives the appearance that it is lost? A thought. That's it. Right now you're resting in the ever-present experiencing, which is what is, until a thought takes that experience, overlooks it, and colors it with a story. Beginning with the story, I am this individual. And the moment that story is believed, the rest of the stories follow. I am good, I am bad, worthy, unworthy, successful, failure, I compare myself with others, I think I am less than, more than, this shouldn't be like this should be like that, life should be like this, life shouldn't be like that, this is fair, this is unfair, and the stories are endless. You see? Because we have overlooked the root cause, which is the thought, I am this individual, overlooking the fact that I am. You see? Once again, are you not? You simply are. That's it. So, recognizing that you are, because that is beingness, is there anything wrong with that? Don't identify with any thoughts. Just notice if there's anything wrong with that. And you would have no answer to that. It is what it is. You see? And that is peace. And yes, you thoughts will come up that are used to deal with life experience. But now you're dealing with life experience from a perspective that is not of this world. I cannot even say it. I don't know how to say it. You're dealing with life experience as they express themselves, and the conceptual mind is used for practical reasons, but there's no psychological suffering. There's no resistance to what is. You see, life is, and whatever is happening is already welcome, accepted as it is. So if something has to be done about it, you find yourself doing something about it, but not because you think that you are the one doing something about it. It's because there's a recognition that life through you is moving the instrument to do something about it. You see, this is the dance. You see, we're dancing with life, not resisting anything. Whatever comes is welcome. It's perfect. I mean, if it's happening, it must be the will of life. But if I believe I'm an individual, then I'm concerned about some of the things that may happen. If I'm concerned that, if I know that I am, then whatever happens is just what happens. Nothing is a threat to who I am. May appear to be a threat to the body, but I am not the body. That doesn't mean I'm negating the body and I'm going to be in the middle of a street waiting for a bus to run me over. No, I'm saying that there's a recognition that I am, and if I'm in the middle of a street and a bus is coming, I know that there's going to be a natural movement, an inkling, and a spontaneous action that probably is going to take me out of the middle of the bus. I'm just pointing that the survival mechanisms are already there, innate, part of the conditioning of the body, so I don't have to worry about it. If I'm going to get away from the bus or not, trust me, I'm very certain that I will get away from the bus. Okay? But in the meantime, even that is seen as just another experience. Everything is accepted as it is. Everything is welcome as it is, because there's no judgment. You see, there's no story about it. And if there's no story about it, what is left is what is. And what is where we're pointing to in these videos all the time. All the time. We're not doing anything with the mind. We're just simply noticing how the mind operates so we can see through its trick. A good magician can be wonderful, but the moment he tells you the trick, you will no longer believe in the magician. Well, this is what we're doing here. Now you see the trick. The trick is that thoughts appear, and if I don't believe them, because I know that they are false, every thought is false anyway, beginning with the thought, I am this individual. But if I can see how the mind operates, I can see that I'm always reacting to the thoughts. So if I don't believe in them, you see, I saw already the trick. If I don't believe in them, I'm resting in the peace that I am, in the joy that I am, in the life that I am. You see, the magician no longer can trick me, because now he can see it, you see. I see you. Well, this is the simplicity of it. It's nothing to do, it's nowhere to go, just simply being. And the more you see the thoughts that the mind seems to try to, the conditioning that the mind seems to hang on to it to really give myself a sense of identity, the more I'm no longer fearful of letting go of the sense of identity. In other words, the more I am comfortable being nothing, being nobody, you see, in a real sense, then it's all very simple. I am not any label you want to place upon me. I am nothing at all. I simply am. And some people may choose labels to place upon this character. He's written books, he's an author. Oh, he's creating songs, he's a musician. He's doing videos, he's I don't know, podcaster, YouTuber, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And of course, he has a body that is a male, and he was born in an island called Puerto Rico, so he's Puerto Rican. And you can use all the labels you want, but in the end, these are just basically interpretations. But the problem is that when you label me, you have to label yourself as well. If you don't label me, you don't label yourself, because if you see me as a body, it's because you're a body. But if you recognize the truth of what I am, it's because you're looking or seeing from the truth of what you are. You see? Yes, you can still see me as a body, of course. But somehow you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that what I am, what you are, what everything is the underlying energy. And that is something the mind cannot grasp. It's impossible. But there's a sense, you see. There's a sense, and that's something that, once again, when we stop believing the content of the mind, we rest in that. And life is simple. Then life is a dance. You will dance the dance that you're supposed to dance. I will dance the dance that I am supposed to dance. And it doesn't matter, because regardless of how you dance your life, or how you dance your music or your dance, and how do I dance mine, in reality is the very same dance. I think the Buddhist said that it's one ego that appears as many, right? Well, there's only life that seems to be fragmented into parts, and this part is called you, the part called me, and the parts that seems to be all the different shapes and forms. But in the end, all the shapes and forms are made of the same thing, and that's what we are. You are that. See? So now when we don't believe the content of the mind, we don't resist the thoughts, all that there is the dance. So let's dance. Well, this is the inspiration that came through this instrument. I hope it served, and as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.